Welcome back to Just Scrap Radio on BJPenn.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton. Episode 90 ahead of UFC San Diego. We got a good lineup for you. First up, we're going to be joined by James Krause to kind of recap Brandon Moreno's big title win 2 weeks ago. Obviously, that's his first time. James has coached the world champions, kind of got his thoughts on that. And then obviously, James announced his retirement from the sport. The day we did it, which was last week while he was in Vegas, he actually officially pulled out the SADA testing pool. So that's obviously the final step to say he is done. And we kind of go over his career, some career highlights, some stuff he'll always remember and or always enjoy talking to James. We're then going to be joined by Devin Clark to preview his fight against Azmat and Mirzakhanov. Obviously, Devin, he's returned to the win column last time out with that heavyweight fight against William Knight, snapped that 2-fight skid where he lost Anthony Smith and Ian Kutalova. He now fights Azmat, who he says obviously he doesn't know a ton about, but was impressed with his UFC debut, and he's excited to kind of test himself against him. We're then going to be joined by David Onama to preview his fight against Nate Landwehr. These two are supposed to fight in Columbus. Obviously didn't happen. David coming off that win over Garrett Armfield just last month, so it's a pretty quick turnaround for him, but that's something I talked to him about, that he's staying ready. He wants these fights early as quick as possible. We're then going to be joined by Tyson Nam to preview his fight against Ode Osbourne. Should be a really fun fight at flyweight. Both these guys didn't get a ton of notice, but it's one they're both looking forward to quite a bit. So, and then we do close things out talking to Ode Osbourne. So we get both sides of this fight about where each guy kind of thinks a win puts them, as both of them think the winner here gets a top 15 guy next. But be sure to share the show, subscribe, and tune in next week for another episode of Just Scrap Radio. All right, we're joined by James Krause, who's finally coached the world champion. James, how's it going, man?
It's good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Like, we've done these interviews a lot, and that's something you've always said is you always want to coach a world champion. Like, what was kind of the emotions like after Saturday night and Brandon won?
I mean, it was awesome. You know, it's one of my favorite moments in my career, probably. It's hard to even verbalize and vocalize, you know, what the feelings are, but it's just a lot of hard work, not just with Brandon, but with a lot of people, you know, and it's pretty cool to be recognized for it.
Was it a big relief, like finally getting that after losing your first two? Like, even though they were the two of the best ever, but is it like a big relief to finally kind of have that off your back?
I mean, it's just, I don't say a relief, but it's just you always want to win, you know. Especially the relief was more for Brandon, because those guys, you know, they could have picked anywhere in the world, and they chose to come to me. And you know, anytime somebody wants to come train with you, you know, you want to validate their decision, you know. So it was important to me that, you know, we won that fight. So I let him know that he made the right call. So yeah, that was more the relief than anything.
What you make of Brandon's performance? Because I thought it was 2-0 Brandon. Like, I thought maybe 1-1 at worst. I was pretty surprised to see the one judge have 2-0 Kai.
Bro, I can't even. It's a fucking shit show anymore. What these judges are thinking. I rewatched it back because it was hard to judge in the fight, because I'm not watching the fight as a judge. I'm watching the fight to coach. So I thought we took the first round, but it was kind of close. I thought we for sure took the second round. 1-1 at worst, but I watched it back and I feel pretty adamant it should have been 2-0 Brandon, but you know, whatever.
And in the corner, you were telling Brandon about the body shot. Like, is that something you guys knew all camp, or is that something you just noticed in the fight?
No, it was something we worked on for like the last 6 months. I mean, it was something we prepped for a lot. Anytime you kick that left side of the body, especially for somebody like Kai that's very backhand dominant, back foot dominant, if you can keep kicking the body and kicking the head on the left side, it keeps his right hand at home. If you keep his right hand at home, he doesn't use his lead hand a lot. So you lower his volume, you stay out of the danger. And then we went high for the first 2 rounds, and then, you know, he started to really overcommit on that, and we switched to the body in the third.
And then, like, obviously it's hard to see like a lot of improvements in one camp, but like I did think Brandon looked a lot better. Like, did you think did you notice like big changes? Like, I know every camp he's gonna get better, but like, did you notice a lot of big changes from just this one camp?
I mean, I've said this in every interview. Like, I know what I inherited. I inherited a world champion fighter. He was a world champion before he came to me. But I do feel like you could see a difference in him being with me, you know, being with it, not just with me, with you know, a new team that you got Capetillo, Hector Vasquez, Hoya. Like, there's a whole new crew, you know. and I feel like you can see the difference. And so like I do feel like we fixed a lot of Brandon's deficiencies, and we made some really good adjustments. And like I said, I know he's a world championship caliber fighter before, but I do feel like the work that we've been putting in the last 6-8 months also shined as well, and he did look different, I feel like.
And then the fourth Figueiredo fight, like, how do you think that kind of changes things now, where he's obviously changing camps? Like, I heard he's leaving Fight Ready, and then obviously Moreno's changed camps to go with you. Like, how do you think the fourth fight, like, that plays a big role in it?
It plays a big role in what?
Like, both those guys changing camps from their last fight.
I personally think that Figgy leaving Fight Ready is a mistake. I feel like those guys did an excellent job preparing him for their third fight. I do feel like that's a mistake on his end, but that's not, that's not here or there for me to make that decision. I got to be honest with you. I'm surprised that I'll be surprised if that fight happens. I've seen Figgy. He's huge. I don't know if he can ever come back down to 25. If he does, I'm really excited for it. Whenever I started working with Brandon, that was kind of the matchup that I had been tasked with. You know what I mean? So I put a lot of time into that matchup already, and I'm looking forward to that fight if it happens.
Say it doesn't happen. You think it's probably Pantoja then, and then Brandon for like the undisputed belt?
It's got to be Pantoja's got to be next in line, in my opinion. Pantoja and Brandon for the undisputed title would be, if I was playing matchmaker, that would be where I would go. I don't know who else you could even throw in there. Winner of Royval Askarov has got to be down the chute, but that Pantoja to me is the clear cut number 2.
And then with Brandon, like, I know you're in Vegas all the time because with the fights at the Apex, like, is that kind of how it works? Like, when he's not in camp, like, you kind of work with him, and then when he's in camp, he'll fly down to Kansas City?
Yeah, I trained with him today. I didn't train with him. I trained with his group, but he was there for a little bit. But yeah, that's when I come into town, I train with him every day I'm here. And then, obviously they spent quite a bit of time in Kansas City as well.
And then this going out like next week before Onama's fight, like, what do you think of that match? Obviously, you getting rebooked with Nate.
Yeah, I love that fight for him. Nate's a guy that he doesn't have a super complex game. He's good at what he's good, but it's simple. The game plan is very simple. Nate doesn't have a lot of layers. What he's good at, he's really good at, and I like those type of fights for David. He doesn't have a ton of layers to his game. David's a freak athlete. He never gets tired. He hits like a truck. This kid's really good, man. David is very skilled. He's very good. And he's big at 45. He hits hard. And he's really good.
I think he wins this fight. Like, it has to be a ranked guy for him next. Like, he's looked so impressive. Like, it might not be next, but like, he could be one of those like notable guys at least if it's not a ranked guy.
Yeah, I mean, dude, honestly, it's tough because you try to build the experience with somebody like him, right? Like, in his first fight, he fought Mason Jones on like 3 days' notice, out of his weight class, and then he gets Mowgli, Mowgli's got like 10 plus UFC fights, not an easy fight for anybody. And then obviously we go. He had 3 different matchups before, and then Garrett Armfield takes the fight on the like a week's notice. So I guess we'll see. Well, you're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, I guess we'll just see how it plays out. We got to get through Nate first. I don't want to disrespect the game, disrespect Nate, but I got to think something. A step up would be if he beats Nate. I got to think something big would be on the horizon for sure.
And then you're in Vegas, obviously, for Jason. Like, are you just going straight to San Diego, or are you going to go back to Kansas City? Like, how's that kind of work?
No. I go back home. I'm usually here from like Wednesday to Sunday, and then I'll go back home. A lot of times I go back home Saturday night after the fights. So there's like a Southwest 9 p.m. flight that gets me home at like 2 a.m. Sometimes I'll take that flight. And then I leave either Wednesday or Thursday. This next week I'll leave Wednesday.
And then, do you have anyone else in the San Diego? Like, you have so many fighters. I'm trying to think, it's Witt and Onama are kind of your next 2 guys.
Yeah, Witt and Onama, and then I have about a month off, and then Trey Ogden.
That's kind of rare for you to have a month off. What's that like?
It is.
What's that going to be like then? Like, you probably won't know what to do with yourself on the weekend.
No. Yeah, we'll probably. Well, Jason Highs when he said we'll probably book some short notice. He's probably right. We will. We probably will. But we have plenty of guys that need work, and it's good when I'm in town because I can work with more of the guys that way.
And I know when we talk about your gambling stuff, like what's with everyone coming at you recently about it?
I don't know. I don't know. Like you talking bad? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, have you not seen
I
all
don't
that
know.
stuff
I
on
don't pay any
Twitter?
attention to them. It
I,
doesn't.
I just feel like every like single person that does picks, there's always like just comments about them all the time.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it is what it is. I don't, you know what I mean? Like that people don't believe me or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really care. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like I had some guy get on my Discord and was like, post your bet slips. I'm like, dude, I'm not, fuck you. I don't need to post anything. I don't have to post shit. You may post my bank account. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want? And then it went into how I'm struggling financially and all. It's you can't please everybody, man. Like you know what I mean? Like it just is what it is.
Just last thing, like obviously you said on Ariel's show that your fighting career is probably over. Like, is there a career highlight for you personally, fighting wise, that you'll kind of always stick out for you?
Yeah, there's different stages of it. Like if I had to pick one, I mean, just the Sam Stout fight would probably be my number one, and that's just because it's my entry into the UFC. It changed my life financially, a double bonus. There's only been a couple people do that. It was just everything, an accumulation of many years of hard work to come into all one night. Like my life changed in one night, and it happened so fast because I took the fight on like 2 weeks notice. So it just all my life changed in a matter of 2 weeks, and that's what I try to tell these guys. Like, in this sport, there's no gray area, right? It's either black and white. So like these guys are like, man, I don't have my shot. It's like, dude, like you don't understand. Like my life changed in 2 weeks. Like my whole life got flipped in 2 weeks time. So it's just there's no gray area here. You're either in or you're out, So yeah, I mean, if I had to pick one, that would be it. Another one would be that Warley Alves fight. That was like my first real fight at 170. I was super proud of that performance. And then I think from like a mindset perspective, the Giles fight would be another one that even though I lost, I'm proud of as well.
It's so stupid you lost that. Like that's still one that kind of just should, like, I don't understand that one at all.
Yeah, it is what it is. I can't pick them.
Are you out of the like testing pool then, or is that something like you still have to do?
Officially as of today.
Wow, so I guess that's the big news then, is you finally out of it.
It's like The Sopranos. It's over.
Well, James, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for doing this as always.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, we're joined by UFC light heavyweight Devin Clark, who's returning back to his weight class. Devin, how's it going, man?
It's going good. Yep, getting down to that 205.
After your last performance, like up at heavyweight, fought William Knight, like got your first UFC finish that you've been after for a while. Like, was there any ever thoughts of staying at heavyweight, or do you just think you'd just be a bit too small up there?
Like for a brief moment, there was a thought of staying at heavyweight. It was kind of nice, not having to cut weight and stuff like that. But I'm just at the end of the day, I'm just too small for the division. And William Knight, he's a guy that he's also light heavyweight, and he was just out of camp or out of shape or whatever, or just put on a bunch of weight. So that's why I was at heavyweight. And so I knew he wasn't a true heavyweight, and I trained with Curtis Blades, so I know what a true heavyweight is, and how they feel, and I'm just not big enough.
Yeah, that's something I actually noticed on your Instagram. I was looking at it. Is when did you make that move to go out to Colorado?
This is my second camp at Team Elevation. Yeah. So yeah, it was before that last fight.
What's it like out there? Like, obviously helps your cardio, I imagine, with the elevation, and then work with guys like Curtis Blades, like Zach Puga, who's in the tough finals. Like, are those kind of main guys you're working with?
Yeah, yeah, they are, and it's a great team. I love the vibes and just the structure of how they do things, and how the training's set up. It's really clicked with me, and I've noticed I'm getting a lot better, and stuff's just clicking because we kind of took a step back and dialed in the basics and went from there.
And then about 4 months after your last fight, like, was this about the right time frame for you to return?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, enough time for a little bit of rest, and then also go back in that William Knight fight, dissect a few things, and also get better.
And then how big is it too, where like a week before you, Zach has his tough final fight, and then like Curtis obviously just fought, so you guys were all kind of in camp together and fighting for around that same day.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. The coaches are gone for a few days at a time, but it's kind of nice that we all have that similar mindset at the same time. Get in the fight and get each other ready, and then you see Curtis go out there. He looked, even though his fight was kind of weird with the knee injury and stuff like that to hospital, but he looked great in that first few seconds. And I figured we think he was gonna go ahead and get the finish, but that was cut short for him. But to see that, it's very motivating, and to see that the work's paying off.
And with Curtis, like obviously got the win, but as like a teammate of his, like how kind of frustrating is that to see? Just because like if Curtis goes out there and like finishes Tom and kind of like derails the hype, like there's a real possibility he's fighting for the belt next. And now like even though there's a win on his record, he kind of did all that training camp for nothing, and he's in this weird spot again.
It is a weird spot for him. Hopefully he can get that shot anyways. I mean, he's been at the top for a while now, and he's proved that he's pretty dominant. He had a few hiccups with some heavy hitters, but that's fighting. But yeah, I mean, it is frustrating to see that, especially when you could see the fight playing out because of how it started, and training with him, knowing what some of the stuff that he does. Yeah, it's a little frustrating.
And off to your fight, like Azmat Mirzakhanov, like was this a guy you were like had or like you are familiar with, or is this someone you had to kind of do the research on?
I don't know him. I think he's had one fight in the UFC, which is good. I don't mind the new upcoming guys, tough dudes. I've had good luck against them. Well, some of them, I guess. Racket kind of knocked me out, but but yeah, he's new in the UFC, and I got to break him in the right way.
That Rakic fight, like I'm near Toronto. I was at it. Like you were pretty close to finishing him. Like you put like Rakic in the most danger he's ever been in the UFC.
He was actually out for a second. He told me after the fight, I had him in like the front headlock position, and I don't know if it was from the knee, but he said he woke up in the front headlock position. I'm like, fuck. Like, it was just like a weird little few minutes there in that fight, but yeah.
With Mirzakhanov, like in his debut, like he didn't look that good. Like he was losing to Nchuki, and then he obviously landed that flying knee like in the third round. Like, is that something you kind of have to be careful of? Is he likes throwing those flying knees and kind of like high energy moves you don't see all the time?
It doesn't bother me much. I've seen just about everything in that cage, so it'll good luck him, surprising me with whatever he can do. And I like to change fights into my fights, and not even give him an opportunity to be creative and do his flashy stuff like that.
And then your wrestling has always been like a big part of your game, but now working with Curtis, like how much is that? Do you think that's improved? Where because Curtis like chain wrestles better than anyone, or if he doesn't get in on that shot, like he'll just keep working, and eventually get you down.
Yeah, well, that's just like the system that we're training. Cody Donovan, he's our grappling coach, I guess. And Vinny Lopez, the way they structure things, it just makes it click, makes it make work. It makes the stand up go directly into the ground game, the takedowns. It just flows so well. And Curtis is a product of that training.
And then I guess the big news with this one is you're in San Diego in front of fans. Like, how exciting was that? I imagine on the contract probably just had a fight night, and you're probably assuming it's back at the Apex.
I did, I was, yeah, but Apex was cool. It's very controlled, like, but it's been over 2 years now since I've had a
crowd. Fight would have been the last one.
No, in Albuquerque.
The Townsend was just before.
Yeah. So that was at least February of 20, maybe. Yeah. So over 2 years, something like that. Yeah, I'm kind of excited for it. It'll be a little bit different, but it's nothing I haven't been in front of. So, but yeah, it's gonna be super cool, engaging with the crowd again, and feeling that vibe and getting excited. It's super cool to go out there in front of the crowd and perform. I'm trying to think now. I kind of forgot what it felt like.
The bigger cage though too, like obviously you're so used to fighting in the small one at the apex. Do you really think that makes much of a difference, or do you kind of like it having a bit more room?
It makes a huge difference. And it's probably a little more in his advantage than in my advantage for this fight, because wrestlers like the small cage get to do more wrestling, but it's that's something that's going to affect us at all. But yeah, it's just gonna be super cool being in the big cage, in front of the crowd, kicking some butt.
How do you kind of see this one playing out then?
Not 100% sure yet, but I know he likes his striking, so I assume eventually I'll get him to the ground and ground and pound him.
With his last fight too, like he's always like still always there in the third round. Like he got that late finish, which you don't see a lot of the light heavyweights, especially when they're losing. Like that's when they kind of seem to gas out. So is that something like you kind of have to be prepared for, even if you're like beating him up like Tafon was, that he's still gonna be there as the fight goes on?
No, that's one thing we train um, is getting a guy tired, is breaking them. That's one thing we really do train. So I'm not worried about it. Any guy can be broken. It's just how hard you got to ride him to break him. So it will come. It will come.
And then getting that first UFC finish, like I know that's something we've always talked about. So is that something that you just kind of want to build on? Is now just keep getting those finishes now that like especially working with the ground pound, like Curtis has like some of the best ground pound going.
Yeah. It's kind of like an interesting mindset right now, because you don't want to chase a knockout after getting a big knockout like that. You don't want to chase it, and then it's happened so late in my career in the UFC it's kind of weird, but just kind of got to let it come naturally. I know we can set them up for some finishes, and it'll just kind of be, just like in the last fight, it'll kind of surprise me a little bit. You put enough of the right stuff together, it just happens organically.
And then how much do you think like experience will play a role in this one? Just because he only has that one UFC fight, and like you've been there, like I don't even know, like you've had so many fights, and like you've kind of seen everything in there and fought like some of the best. Like how much do you think that's going to benefit you?
It's going to benefit me quite a bit, I think, especially once the fight gets going, because this is probably his first time fighting in front of a big crowd in the UFC, anyways. Because he came through during COVID. This is his second UFC fight, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it'll get to him a little bit, especially in that probably second round after he's calmed down a little bit and realized he's in a world of hurt, and this Devin guy is smothering him. So yeah, it'll come into play. It'll come into play.
How much better, like just maybe not better, but like more like kind of stuff you've gotten in part of your game since going out to Colorado? Because it seems like your last fight, like obviously it's one fight, it's hard to really see stuff, but it did seem like you stuck to more of a game plan, and then obviously you got the finish, and like your ground pound looked better and all that.
Yeah, so we're very game plan focused here at this camp, the Team Elevation. And it's just easier to stick to stuff. The coaches have done a really good job. Like I said, Cody and Vinny, they're super good. They make a really good team together. So the communication and everything, it just like I felt, even that was our first fight together just after a couple months, and things just flowed in there. The communication between me and them themselves, and then also with my dad, it just flowed and made a good environment. And this fight camp, we're building off that for sure, and it's going super smooth. And one of the biggest things we've been working on is my footwork. I get a little bit static sometimes, and my feet are moving faster than they need to, or more than they need to. I think that's kind of from wrestling. You just kind of, it doesn't matter where your feet are. Sometimes you just kind of go, and that's not the case in this game. So we've been working on that a lot, and it's seemed to be working. I think it's gonna be really effective in this fight.
Where do you think a win here puts you, especially if you finish them? Like that would be 2 wins in a row, because you're always a guy that's right near that top 15. Like most of your losses are to guys in like that top 5, top 10 range.
I assume it'll put me in the top 15. If it doesn't, whatever. I'll keep fighting the new guys. I don't give a shit. at least for a few more fights. But yeah, I just need to keep stacking wins. I don't care who it is, where I'm ranked. I know I need to keep stacking wins, keep improving my game, especially with the new camp. The more people we see, the better. Before we get to those title shots and stuff like that.
Just last thing then, like, what is kind of the goal then for you this year? Are you hoping get this one and maybe one more in?
Possibly this one, and then if the fight finishes quick or whatever, I'm unharmed, which is sometimes rare for me.
Yeah.
And then we'll look at something else. But yeah, I'm always down to fight if the situation's right. So.
Well, Devin, I appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much for doing this.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate.
Okay. All right, we're joined by UFC featherweight David Onama, who's back in action here in San Diego. David, how's it going, man?
Doing good, brother. Always have a pleasure having you on. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, quick turnaround. Like, we talked after your win, you said like you weren't really sure you'd be open to a quick turnaround. Like, when did this kind of fight kind of come together for you?
Yeah, man. So like I said, man, I'm always ready. I'm always in the gym, always training. I don't need a fight camp, I always say this, if you need a fight camp, it's because you're not training, and guys like me, I'm always training. So when I got this fight offered, I was good because I was injured from my last fight on July 9th. I wasn't injured, it wasn't hurt at all. And I felt good, and I told the UFC, hey, I'm ready. Just fought. I want to fight again as soon as possible, and they got me this fight, so I'm excited for it.
Does it help too that you and Nate have been booked in the past, so you've already kind of studied him?
Yeah, I kind of already studied him. I know all his game plans, so when I got the fight offer, it wasn't really nothing new to me because I already knew like all about the kid. We were supposed to fight in Columbus, Ohio, but that didn't happen for some reason. I don't know what happened, but things happen in the sport. I don't know if they got injured or not, but I'm happy that we get to fight again and in front of the fans. So that's good.
Yeah, be your first time fighting in front of fans in the UFC. Like, how excited are you for that?
I'm very excited, man. I've been waiting for this opportunity for a very long time, and it's finally here and it's happening. Uh, fought 3 times at the Apex. I felt like I built myself a lot. Kind of just put my name out there. Fought at the Apex, but 3 times. I feel like I needed to find in front of the fans. So now I'm here. So
What do you think that walkout's going to be like then for you?
It's probably going to be a little bit of different because it's going to be more crowd, than the Apex. So man, it's going to be like and it's going to be a lot of fans going to be in San Diego, California. Man, I can only picture it, man. It's going to be an exciting walk. Really excited. I'm looking forward to it.
With your fight, like, given you only have like, what was it, 3 weeks you took it on, 3 or 4, something like that. So like, what is camp like for you then? Just trying to get it all done in a short amount of time.
For me, man, like after my July 9th fight, got right back to training on Monday, and kind of just back to the routine. What I've been doing. Working on my grappling, striking, a little bit of jiu-jitsu. Nogi and all this, what's it called, training I've been doing. So, like I said, man, nothing new to me. I've been doing me, and it just, same shit, man, just a different day, So, I'm looking forward to it.
With Nate, like, how do you think you match up against him? Because obviously he's a guy that likes to kind of just throw and kind of meet in the middle and stand and bang.
Yeah, Nate, man, Nate, they call him a train for a reason. He comes forward and he just bangs. For me, man, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna close that distance on him, to where, he doesn't walk me down. I'm gonna walk him down and put my pressure on him because I'm really good with walking people down, and he is too. And the guy is durable. It's tough. It just he's one of those guys that you might just not take out. You know, you might take him out, you might not take him out. He's gonna be in your face. So, you know, he's gonna come out, he's gonna fight, you know. And, you know, I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna fight. I love the matchup. We're both similar, but I just feel like I'm way better than him and I can beat him all, you know, all over places. I'm very well skilled. I can do it all. So, you know, like I said, man, great matchup for me. You know, let's get it, man. So I'm gonna see.
You are going to be a lot bigger than him. Like you have like a 4-inch reach advantage. Like how important do you think that's going to be in the fight?
Yep, that's you know, that's really good for me. I feel like if I just go out there and just you know, just use a lot of feints and stay long, just, you know, throw my jabs out there and jabs and twos, you know, to where he doesn't get too close to me, or you know how because he's really good on the cage, like putting that pressure on you and putting you on the cage and getting like the clinch and throwing the knees. Like he's really good at that. But I feel like, you know, when I use my reach on him, he won't be able to do that against me. You know, most guys he's fought, he did that too, but I don't think he can pull that off for me. You know, so and I can fight going backwards. You know, so you know, whatever he wants to do, man, we can do it all. But I don't think he's gonna do that against me. You know, I'm probably gonna be his toughest fight, honestly. So.
And with Nate, like even though both his loss in the UFC, he has gotten finished. Like he is a pretty durable dude. Like can take a lot of shots. So like, is this one you kind of expect is gonna get in those later rounds?
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Even though Nate's been finished in like his 2 UFC fights, like he's a guy that takes a lot of shots and is pretty durable. So like, are you expecting this one to go into those later rounds?
Yeah, you know, look forward to that. You know, like I said, man, 2 of his UFC fights that he lost, you know, he got knocked out, you know, with a knee. So, you know, I'm gonna probably end up, you know, doing the same thing. You never know. So we're gonna see, man. You know, I'm not looking. That's not what my game plan is. But you know, I'm just gonna come out there and, you know, do what I do. If, you know, if things happen, then you know it happens. But if not, then not. So I'm just gonna go out there and just have fun, man. You know, whatever comes out, comes out. You know, if it's a TKO, knockout, submission, you know, I don't plan on those things. But you know, whatever happens in the fight, you know, happens. So, you know.
Do you think he'll try to wrestle you after you kind of stand with him for a bit?
Absolutely. You know, you gotta, you know, that's the thing about me, man. I turn those strikers into wrestlers. So I think he's gonna, you know, throw a lot of body kicks, leg kicks, and you know, and trying to fit in with his wrestling. You know, push me against the cage, and you know, do what he do. But like I said, he's not doing that to me. As you guys, you know, watch my last fight, I can also grapple. So if he wants to grapple, we can grapple. If he wants to strike, we can strike. So, like I said, I'm all, you know, well rounded. Whatever he wants to do, you know, we can do it all. So, you know,
Do you think because how good your striking is, your grappling and your ground game gets overlooked?
yeah, 100%, man. Nobody really respect when it comes to my grappling. I mean, it's because I usually say it's like save it for rainy days. You know, if I need it, I'm gonna use it. If I don't, then I'm not gonna use it. You know, so most guys think I'm only a striker until they shoot on me. So, you know, that's always good to have, though. You know, always good to have a wrestling background in your pocket, you know, just for the days you're going to need it for. So, you know, I can grapple. I just choose not to unless I need to. So, you know.
Just a couple more things. Like I know you always go for the finish. So like, how do you kind of see this one playing out?
Man, I don't even know, man. Whatever happens, happens. You know, if it's a TKO, like I said, TKO, submission, knockout, I'm just gonna go in there and just fight and have fun. You know, whatever comes, comes. So that's how I'm gonna look at the fight. You know, because whatever I ask for, it might not happen. So you just got to go in there with a clear mind and just fight and just have fun and not look for the things that you think is gonna happen, because you know it might not happen. You know, so I'm just gonna come out, man, and just have fun, man. You know.
Where do you think a win over Nate would put you? Just because that would make you 3-0 at featherweight in the UFC, like, and especially if you finish them, it'd be 3 finishes. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you got a rank guy or someone right near the rankings.
Yeah, I feel like after this fight, man, I should either fight a ranking opponent or get the top 15. If not, we're gonna keep winning our fights and just keep getting better. So I'm looking forward to getting ranked after this fight. If not, find a ranked opponent. So you know we'll see. We'll see what happens from here on. So.
Just last thing, like, what is kind of the goal then for this year? Like, are you hoping to get one more in after Nate, or do you think this is probably it for you?
After Nate, I won one more. So I want one more after Nate, probably October. I'll get right back in after what's called August 13th. But yeah, man, get right back in October. I just want to get ranked this year, man. Get ranked or fight a ranked opponent. So we'll see, man. We'll see what the fight takes us.
Well, David, I appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're joined by UFC flyweight Tyson Nam, who's got another fight, and hopefully this one comes to fruition finally. Tyson, how's it going, man?
It's been a long while awaiting for me to step up into the octagon again. Glad it's here.
Yeah, obviously 2 canceled fights against Tagir, like both on his end. Like after that second one, like how kind of frustrated were you that it got canceled again?
Man, it was just like deja vu. It's like almost the same time or same amount of time before the fight, and it's one of those things where it probably won't ever happen.
When he did pull out, like, were you kind of telling your management to get you a fight, like even if it was a short notice guy, like a newcomer, like, or did you kind of want to get a known guy?
It was more on the fact that even though I would want to fight is being like a 1 week notice. If the stylistic matchup was similar, then yes. But if you're going to give me someone that's completely opposite from what I've actually been training for, that kind of goes against my preparation, which I'm really big into preparation now, especially, coming back and, progressing to where I'm at now.
And then even this one's kind of a short notice. Like we only found out about what, 2 weeks before? Like, is that about the time frame you found out about it as well?
About 3-ish, 2 to 3-ish. So I mean, given that amount of time, yeah, that's not a problem. That's not a problem to prepare and be in shape for.
Obviously, you were getting down in weight anyways to flyweight, but were there any ever talks of doing this one at 35 just because it wasn't a full camp?
No, I wanted to make it a point to myself that I'm coming back after being away for about coming up on 19 months now, that I need to make it myself that I'm a flyweight. I need to make this flyweight weight limit, and that's the goal I set out from the beginning.
What has this like past year and a half been like for you? Because like it's not on you that you're not fighting. Like you had 2 fights pull out, but like even with that, like you've still just had to been sitting on the sidelines for this long.
Yeah, it's just a roller coaster of emotions and energy. You gotta fight, you don't gotta fight. You gotta fight, you don't gotta fight. But I'm pretty sure that this one is locked and we're ready to go.
And it's not like you're getting any younger either. So is that kind of
No.
frustrating too, seeing you being on the sidelines for this long?
It's a confusing time because though my age says one thing, I hang out with people that are a lot younger than me, and my body feels even better than my friends and training partners that are in their 20s. So it's a real confusing time for me. I don't know. I definitely don't look the age, but I do possess the wisdom and the knowledge.
And then Ode Osbourne, like how familiar are you with him? Like you guys fought 2 same guys and you both knocked him out in Jerome Rivera and Zaruk Adashev.
Yeah, no, I've been watching Ode. He's really good, really fast, very good skill set. So it's just going to make for an exciting fight, especially if we had the same common opponents with the same results. It is just fitting that we fight each other.
And you don't really see a whole lot of flyweights with like one punch knockout power like you two do. So do you think that's what makes it kind of exciting too? Is it should just be like a striking fight and it could come down to who really lands the first clean one?
Yeah, I always said, I mean, it's better to be lucky than it is to be good. So whoever lands that first shot is probably going to sleep. But at the but but yeah, I mean, I keep on thinking to myself, yeah, it's going to be a hell of a exciting fight, and at the same time, oh shit, it better not be a boring ass fight because we're such exciting fighters. But almost guaranteed, it's going to be fireworks.
And then I guess the one sort of good news that the fight got like delayed, your fight about like a month and a half, is you're in front of fans again. Like how exciting was that when you found that out?
I kind of just realized it a couple of days ago. I was like, oh wait, we're at the Pachanga Arena in San Diego. That means there's going to be fans. That's the first time I fought in front of fans since New Zealand, 2020 or something of that sort. So it's gonna be is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be wild. It's almost gonna be just me getting used to hearing people yell, scream, and whatnot again. But I've been doing it since 2006, so I've been there before.
Yeah, would have been the Kai Kara France fight because that was like 2 or 3 weeks before kind of everything shut down.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, even going over to New Zealand, there was always talks about getting shut down, and the COVID is running rampant. So here we go, fans, baby, we back.
With Ode, like style wise, do you just kind of imagine this is gonna be a kickboxing fight, or do you kind of see him shooting on you at some point?
I I think it's gonna be a strike fest battle. He likes to strike. I like to strike. Let's see who's striking is better.
He is gonna be a bit taller than you and a bit more of a reach advantage, like nothing new for you. So like, do you really not look much into that because you're used to fighting a lot guys with longer reaches than you?
I I've trained with people that are way bigger than me on a daily basis. It's definitely not going to be anything new that he's going to bring to the table that I haven't seen before, fought with before. So I'll be well prepared.
How do you kind of see this one playing out then?
We're gonna walk out to the middle. Uh, Probably won't touch gloves, and we're gonna start throwing down. Everyone's gonna be screaming, and something's gonna happen. Something exciting is gonna happen.
To me, I think this is like bonus money written all over it. Like, do you kind of think the same way?
Yeah, I mean, he brings the excitement. I love to bring the excitement. So let's bring it together. Let's make some money.
And then once you start fighting, like, will you hear the crowd noise, or do you kind of like zone all that out?
It goes the opposite way. You hear the crowd when you walk out, and then the closer you get to the cage, and by the time you get into the cage, then it kind of almost like turns silent, and almost even like a little bit the lights almost like dim down. I don't know if they actually do that, but I know like things get real tunnel vision and real focused, and all of your senses get heightened, and it's just right there inside of that cage.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, if you hear the crowd start like cheering when you guys are throwing down, that must give you more excitement. But I guess you probably won't even hear it.
Won't even hear it.
What do you think that walk gonna be like though for you? Like finally walking out to all that noise and fans.
Like I said, I've been doing this since 2006. I warm up. I try to stay as calm as possible, but you know, if you're not nervous at all, you probably shouldn't be in the game, because that nervousness is what I actually enjoy, just because I know that it makes me feel alive. It makes me know that I'm ready. But walking out to it with the fans, like I said, when I'm walking out, it's almost starting to dim out, so it won't even bother me any bit. But try to stay as calm as possible, stay at the task at hand, and try to bring a exciting performance for the fans and everyone in that arena.
What do you think a win, especially if you finish Ode, does for you? Like, I have to imagine the winner of this either is in the rankings or gets a ranked opponent next.
Just making it back to the cage was an accomplishment for me. And now that I've made it here, yes, the next goal would be to get that win. So whoever gets that win, I mean, we're both of us are out of the rankings, but we definitely should be in the rankings. We can compete with any of the top 15, top 10 guys out there, skill for skill. So I'm thinking that the winner definitely gets someone from the top 10 to the top 15 next.
And like you look at the guys you lost to in the UFC, Sergio Pettis is now the Bellator bantamweight champ. Like Kai, we're doing this the day before 277. Kai's fighting for the interim belt tomorrow, and then Matt Schnell's like a perennial top kind of 7-8 guy at the flyweight, and like had that really impressive win like 2 weeks ago. Like, so you've only lost to those very top guys since you've been in the UFC.
Yeah, I've always believed that I should have been competing with the top guys since 2012, and it took me all the way till 2000. What was it, 19ish, to get into the UFC. So it was a long road. It was a long time waiting for just the right time, the right place to get into the UFC and compete with these top flyweights in the world, which I feel like I should have been with a long time ago.
Just last thing, you hoping to get one more in this year to kind of make up for that lost time?
Yeah. Let's get two in this year. I've been training pretty diligently for well over a year now. So I'm ready to get back to business and ready to get back to entertaining fans.
Actually, just one more quick thing. Like you kind of mentioned it there. You've been training like for a fight for over a year. Like, do you kind of expect to come out like a lot different and better just because you've had like 18 months in the gym to work on different things you wouldn't normally have time to work on it for when you're in a fight camp?
Like when I did have going through the process, you can only do certain things at a
Mm.
certain time, but I made sure that everything that I did it 110%. And it's just almost a wonder how I was able to keep that intensity and that training for that long a period of time. So I expect nothing but something exciting, probably something new, but I just expect great things come August 13th.
All right. Well, Tyson, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for doing this.
All right. Thanks a lot, Cole.
All right. We're joined by UFC flyweight Ode Osbourne, who's back in action. Ode, how's it going, man?
What's good, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Like, this fight kind of came out of nowhere. Like, is it as short notice as what it got announced? Because it only got announced like 2 weeks before the fight, or 2 weeks before that date.
Yeah, it's a short notice. They called me, and I think his opponent was Umar, or it was something with a U. I don't even know, some long last name I can't pronounce. Uh, was his opponent, and they I don't know what happened, but that fight fell through, and they called me, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to fight in a couple weeks?" I was like, "Let's go, run it."
Yeah, he was supposed to fight Ulanbekov at like the end of June or early July, and I know that fight got off, so I imagine they probably just.
Yeah, Ulanbekov, or yeah, that's what it was.
I know you wanted Jeff Molina, but then like when we talked last time, you said Jeff Molina or anything short notice. So like, is Tyson Nam kind of a guy you thought you'd end up fighting one day?
Yeah, because I don't Jeff Molina. I don't think they want that fight. Mainly because if they did, we'd be fighting. Um, which is fine. But yeah, I think Tyson Nam is a. It's a. I'm like I said, it doesn't matter the the name or who. I just want to fight. So whoever they call and ask me for, I'm like, all right, let's go.
And with Nam, like, how familiar are you with him? Because like he's a guy I think people thought should have been in the UFC like a long time ago, like knocked out Eduardo Dantas, like beat Ali Baganatudov, like, and then before getting to the UFC, and then he finally got his shot. Like, but he is a bit older now, and he's finally getting that shot.
Yeah, he's Tyson is very, very seasoned. You know what I'm saying? He has a lot of fights. I have a lot of respect for him. I am not underestimating him. He is a really good fighter. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking past him. I know how seasoned he is. But at the same time, I'm Jamaican, like I've said before, and us Jamaicans, man, we love our Jamaican food. And if you ever had Jamaican food, you know how much we love seasonings. So uh, I'm ready for the challenge, is what I'm trying to say.
With Tyson, like, what have you made of his UFC run? Like 2-3, like he's knocked out Zaruk Adeshev in 32 seconds, like knocked out Jerome Rivera. But like you look at his losses, it's Kai Kara France, Matt Schnell, and Sergio Pettis, who are like some of the best flyweights in the world.
Yeah, he's good, man. He fought. You know what's so funny? Zaruk Adeshev and Jerome Rivera, who he knocked out, I also knocked out.
Mhm.
That's what makes this fight so interesting. We both KO'd the same people in the UFC in our division. That's what makes it such a good matchup. You know what I mean? We both it's just two heavy hitters. That's about to cross and lock eyes.
With it being short notice, like
Cross paths.
is this still a flyweight fight?
Yeah, it's still a flyweight fight. Yep. A lot of people have asked me that. It's still a flyweight fight for sure.
Was that ever a discussion of maybe just doing 35 because it is short notice? You don't have to get all the way down, or did you want to be flyweight?
Nah, I'm good, man. Like it's all good, bro. It's like we're fighters, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we show up and we fight. We do what we need to do to make these changes, and if I didn't think I could do it, then I wouldn't accept it.
How much do you look back at Tyson's fights against Rivera and Zaruk compared to how you fought him, just to see kind of what he did against him, what you did?
We pretty much did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
We just hit him with that cross. You know what I mean? We literally, I think, actually mine was a hook towards Zaruk, but it's same punch, same round. There wasn't a lot in the fight to take notice for, because we both finished him really quick.
I know something we've talked about is UFC quit your job, full-time fighter now in Vegas. Like, what is this, the second or third fight maybe since you've done that move? So like, do you still just think you're getting better and better now? Like now that your sole focus is fighting?
Yeah, man, it's so interesting. I feel like I've gotten so much time with by myself, with God. That's the most important thing, is my time with God, because I'm very faithful through God. And being by myself has grown me so much as a human being, and almost like Moses and Jesus in the woods. Their time in the woods and alone helps them to be closer with God and communicate with God, because no one else's voice is around. And so, yeah, man, it's made me like a fire through the snow almost.
Back in front of fans too. Like, how exciting was that when you got told it was in San Diego in front of fans?
Honestly, I've had this question before. I don't care if it's in front of fans, not in front of fans. Like, it doesn't matter to me, honestly. But I've never been to California, so that is exciting. You know what I'm saying? I'm stoked about to go in front of California. That's super. That's somewhere where everyone has always been like, oh, California, California, and I'm like, I gotta train, but now I have an excuse to go, so I'm happy about that one.
Gonna spend a couple days after the fight out there then, or are you just heading right back to Vegas?
Yeah, I'm gonna spend probably just the day, Sunday, and then come back on Monday.
That's weird. You've never been, considering how close Vegas is to California. Like, I know a lot of people just make the drive down like on weekends and stuff.
Yeah, man, but it's like I got other priorities. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to fight and make money and do what I need to do. It's like California is like last on my list of priorities. You know what I'm saying?
With this one, like just 2 months after your last fight too, like, is that a big benefit where it's like basically just getting right into another camp?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. If I could have another fight after this in 2 months, I'd be good. I'd be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, because the timing this like sets you up to probably have 3 fights this year, and after like the Zaruk fight, it wasn't really looking like you might only get 2 in.
I agree, 100%, man. The timing was so perfect. I was just like, yeah, let's go. If I can get 3 fights, I'd be like, last year I got 3 fights last year, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, I believe I got 3 fights last year,
Yeah.
and that was a good year for me. It was a good year for me.
With you and Tyson, like both heavy hitters, like you don't really see a lot of one punch knockouts at flyweight, and both of you guys are doing that. So, like, how do you think you match up against him? Like, do you think it is just going to be a kickboxing fight, kind of?
Man, I don't know where it's going to be, how it's going to be. I just know that I'm going to be dominant everywhere. That's all I know. I don't know if it's going to be a kickboxing match, it's going to be a wrestling match, grappling, whatever the case may be. I know that I'm going to be dominant everywhere. It doesn't matter where the fight goes. That's where I'm going to supersede.
4-inch reach advantage too. Like, how big do you think that is? Where you could just kind of use your jab and keep him at distance if you want to.
Yeah, I haven't really thought much about the reach, honestly. I looked at it once, but it wasn't something that I was just like, it didn't really mean much to me. We'll see. It's like, we'll see how it goes. I think I'm glad that I have a 4-inch reach advantage, so I could definitely use that to my advantage. So we'll see how the fight goes, man. I'm just right now I'm just excited to get in there and fight. Like I'm so excited to fight.
With this one, like, given it is just 2 weeks, like, what is kind of training camp looking like? Like, are you focused on Tyson, or is it more just kind of focusing on yourself because it is short notice?
Yeah, exactly. I'm more just focusing on myself because it's so short notice. You don't want to add anything new when you have a short notice fight. You know what I mean? You just want to continue to strengthen what you've been doing.
How do you kind of see playing out? Because like both you guys are finishers. Like I imagine, like this one seems like it has bonus money kind of written all over it.
I do not know how I see it playing out. Like I said, I don't know. But I do know I plan to come in there and do what I do, which is be a terrorizer and terrorize him every chance I get. Uh, like I said before, wherever the fight goes, whether it's on the ground, on the feet, I plan to be dominant everywhere. Like I said, I don't know how it's gonna go. I can't predict the future, but I can predict. I mean, I could say that what I want to do is gonna be, dominant.
The bigger cage as well. There, like, do you think that's going to play a role? That it's not the small one at the apex.
Nah, I don't think it's gonna matter.
And just last thing, like we kind of talked to, like this one kind of sets you up to have one more. Like, do you really care who's next? Like, I know you called out Jeff after your last one, but you said you don't really think that's gonna happen. Like, do you kind of have a name in mind, or is it just whoever they give you?
Man, I don't. It's like I always call people out, and then it's. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I do have a name in mind. I do. I do have a name in mind, but I gotta talk to my camp more and see, because my coach might be a little weary about it, but I do have a name in mind.
Are you hoping it's a ranked guy? Like, I think this win has to get you either in the rankings or a ranked guy next.
Yeah, man. I'm I guess it's whatever. It's wherever whatever God decides and intends for me in my future. It's really not up to me. It's up to UFC and it's up to the guy upstairs. I'm just a vessel right now, and the best I could do is finish Tyson, and whatever food I have in front of me after that. If it happens that way, then that's where we're going.
Well, Ode, I appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much for doing this.
Of course, man. You have a good one.
Yeah, you too.